He was known around Hollywood as the Hunk. His heavy-lidded eyes and fleshy lips made him instantly recognizable in light comedies and dark dramas.
Where's the necklace?
That's my business.
Whether playing the tough guy or romancing the ladies, he could always be counted on to bring down the house. He is the one and only Victor Mature. He was born Vittorio Maturi in Louisville, Kentucky on January 29, 1913. Moving to California in the late 30s, Mature found stage work at the Pasadena Playhouse, where he was discovered by producer Hal Roach. Victor made his film debut in the 1939 comedy The Housekeeper's Daughter, which was followed by the prehistoric epic 1 Million B.C. Then he took time out to marry lovely Martha Kemp, but their union lasted only a few years. Moving over to Fox in the early 40s, Mature appeared in the nostalgic musical My Gal Sal, opposite an actress he was also involved with in real life, gorgeous Rita Hayworth.
Will you marry me, Sal?
When? When the show closes?
Saturday night. Then we can have all day Sunday just for a honeymoon.
A whole day. What more could a girl ask for?
That same year, Victor made the musical comedy 7 Days Leave, co-starring a woman who would go on to become a television legend, Lucille Ball. A stint in the Coast Guard interrupted Victor's career. But as soon as World War II ended, he returned to the screen, portraying Doc Holliday in John Ford's Western classic, My Darling Clementine. This was followed by the 1947 film noir favorite Kiss of Death, opposite pretty Colleen Gray and giggling psychotic Richard Widmark in his film debut. By now, Victor Mature was firmly established as one of Hollywood's busiest leading men. He was also married again, this time to pretty Dorothy Berry. Their marriage would last into the mid-50s. In 1949, the legendary Cecil B. DeMille picked Mature to play the biblical hero Samson opposite sultry Hedy Lamarr as the temptress Delilah.
Samson and Delilah. The immortal story of the strongest man in all history. A masterpiece of big screen entertainment. Samson, who alone and unafraid challenged and defeated the most dreaded army of his time. His daring exploits have become legend. The lion of the desert he fought with his bare hands. See as he saw the orgies of barbaric pagans that roused his vengeful fury.
Visiting the set one day, comedian Groucho Marx told DeMille the picture didn't have a chance because the leading man had bigger knockers than the leading lady. Luckily, Groucho was wrong, and Samson and Delilah became an instant hit.
His lust became a trap that led to his downfall and capture. Enchained, he was tortured and blinded. Here is the most spectacular scene of destruction ever filmed. Samson using his incredible strength to bring down the Temple of Dagon in crashing ruins.
Victor returned to period musicals with 1950's Wabash Avenue alongside bandleader Phil Harris. And another of Vic's real-life romantic partners, pin-up queen Betty Grable.
You shouldn't talk to Miss Summers that way. She picked that costume out personally.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please accept my apologies.
Well, good night, Mike. Good night, Miss Summers. Oh, Miss Summers, in the future, when you select your wardrobe, I suggest you call me up first because I don't think you're properly qualified.
Then Mature switched gears for the 1952 crime drama, The Las Vegas Story, playing a police lieutenant opposite luscious Jane Russell and the always delightful Vincent Price.
What a beautiful picture. Moonlight, sagebrush, and my wife with a stranger.
An old friend.
Ah, the desert is giving up its secrets.
Lloyd, this is Lieutenant Andrews of the Sheriff's Office.
It's Joe, isn't it? In the song, it's always Joe. I can picture you riding off into another dawn with the girl you left behind crying. Goodbye, Joe.
If you're looking for trouble with me, forget it. You've got your share already. You made a sucker out of me once, Linda, and you're not going to do it again. What were you doing at the last chance early this morning? And just how deep are you in this with Rollins?
I know what you want. You want to put me in jail, too. And then you can lock yourself in with me and my husband, the three of us, in a nice, damp cell living happily ever after.
What did you do? Come to say goodbye to my wife?
I've already told your wife goodbye. Where's the necklace?
That's my business.
Not anymore. It was Clayton's for a while, but he's dead and the necklace is missing.
But I don't see what that has to do with me.
And just to give you a little clue, the charge is murder.
Victor also co-starred in the splashy MGM musical $1 Million Mermaid with swimming sensation Esther Williams. Then came another of Mature's signature roles, Demetrius, the poor slave who encounters Jesus in the biblical classic The Road. The 1953 CinemaScope epic starred young Richard Burton as a Roman soldier who falls for a Christian girl played by beautiful Gene Simmons.
The beauty whose fame was legend. Even pagan Rome itself gasped at their love.
I want to be your wife, whatever you believe. I'd marry you if I had to share you with 1,000 gods.
With Victor Mature as Demetrius, Michael Rennie as Peter the Big Fisherman. Here is all the sweep and spectacle, the power and grandeur of a mighty era when the word of heaven was arrayed against the sword of Rome. You will see the treachery spawned by a handful of silver, the day of Golgotha, the glory that was Rome, the invincible legions, the love that defied an empire, the torture of Demetrius, intrigue and revolt.
A sequel followed, Demetrius and the Gladiators, opposite the alluring Susan Hayward. Since Burton and Simmons had died in the earlier film, the focus this time rested squarely on Mature's broad shoulders.
You are there in the arena as you become a thrilling, breathing part of the deadliest sport ever devised by man. Life and limb against sword, net, trident, and devouring beasts. You are there as the wanton temptress Messalina pits her beguiling beauty against one man's mortal weakness.
We need no gods, you and I. We have each other for as long as we live. There's no past, no future. Only now.
You are there amid the wild bacchanalian orgies when Rome was in all its might and magnificence, in all its decadence and desire. You are there as Demetrius seeks the word of God and finds his faith reborn.
I've had a terrible dream, Demetrius. I can't remember.
Don't try to.
And then it changed, and I saw Jesus, just as you described him. He stood there and smiled at us. Was it true? Did he really come?
Yes, he came.
But Victor's talents extended far beyond these sword and sandal roles. The early 50s saw him playing a tough-talking sergeant who leads the Glory Brigade during the Korean War.
There's Nikias, who had a private war of his own to win. Smitty, the sergeant who made every man his kid brother. Bowman, who didn't have faith in anything but his gun. Marakis, the Greek who learned about Yanks on the battlefield. And I'm Sam Pryor, First Lieutenant, United States Combat Engineers.
I don't think my men are going to jump through any hoops when they find out they have to be with the Greeks.
It's okay with you, Hal. I'll be glad to switch with Jorgensen.
Nobody's asking to switch.
Take it easy. I'm asking. Some of my closest friends are Greeks, including my father. You know that. Yes, it's happening right now. Yanks, Greeks, New Zealanders. It isn't easy to make them live together and come out fighting. All right? You guys have been yammering. If this is a UN war, we're our allies. Well, tonight you're going to get a chance to see something. Ferrying detail with the 1st Greek Brigade.
You trying to scare us, Lieutenant?
They're as tough as the Turks, boys. I hit them Turks as spears.
I think you'll find them plenty tough. Lieutenant Pryor, sir, 33rd Engineers.
Keep it clean, boss.
You have to perform in front of your corporal, just as in a bigger way you've been performing all along. Dropping a grenade down the hatch of a tank, knocking out a machine gun alone, attacking this place. You must prove to everybody that you are the bravest man in the world.
Victor Mature, as the fellow called the Scarf. Daring, danger-loving
A mysterious character known as the Scarf in the World War II Clark Gable adventure Betrayed.
Fun being here. Of course, if they ever catch you, they shoot you like a dog.
Lana Turner, as Carla Van Offen, the lady with a past.
Co-starring opposite Gable and Mature was another of Vic's real-life conquests, luscious Lana Turner.
All right, Sonny boy, this one's on the side of the angels. Did you hear what I said? She's our girl. Go on, scoot. Go on. Well, how do you think? Starting to counterattack. What's left of them?
Oh, well, you might have warned me you were coming.
I'll never warn anyone.
Why, you don't trust me?
You never trust anyone. They can never betray you.
Betrayed?
But Mature never strayed too far from exotic tales of ancient days. 1953's The Veils of Baghdad was a romantic adventure featuring Victor as a swashbuckling hero who falls for a beautiful dancer, played by newcomer Marie Blanchard.
What are you doing in my dressing room?
Same as any other man would want to do. Meet a beautiful woman.
It is upon me to take vengeance. I am alone.
You're not alone.
Antar, Kafar failed to return to the camp of the wrestlers tonight.
Let's put an end to this.
The following year, Mature starred in The Egyptian opposite Edmund Purdom. His Robe co-star Gene Simmons, and another lovely Gene Tierney. More than a decade earlier, Mature and Tierney had appeared together in one of their first films, The Shanghai Gesture, directed by Josef von Sternberg. Having played everything from a biblical hero to a no-nonsense sergeant, Mature next tackled the role of Chief Crazy Horse, the proud Indian warrior who proved to be General Custer's undoing.
This is the story of the Sioux Nation in the dramatic days of its glory. More than that, it is the story of a man, starting when, as a boy, he beheld a vision of greatness. Carrying on through manhood as he became a great warrior. In time, he learned the meaning of love, told in one of the warmest, most tender romances ever brought to the screen. And rarest of all things, the strength of a white man's friendship.
I beg you, don't spill your blood. Crook is too strong for you.
We shall see who is stronger.
And then, destiny and expansion began to crowd the Sioux. And out of the plunder, the skirmishes, the broken treaties, and the bloodshed came the historical challenge. The last great Sioux uprising under Chief Crazy Horse. Photographed where it happened, in the Black Hills of Dakota.
My husband, I hope your prayers have given you strength. Custer, the one they call Longhair, rides along the Bighorn with many soldiers.
You attack the scouts first. My warriors and I will attack the supply wagons.
From the Little Bighorn to the deepest, darkest Africa, as Victor portrayed big game hunter Ken Duffield in the 1956 adventure Safari.
I know you. You used to work on my farm at harvest time. You're a friend of Jeroge's.
Safari. Co-starring was a young Janet Leigh as the woman who leaves her fiancé for beefy Mature.
Rampton. There's a line over your head. He's less than 20 feet away.
You can't fool me with that old trick.
She was an ex-chorus girl. He was a white hunter. Their love was destined to set the dark continent aflame.
That same year, Victor starred as Zarek, an Arabian prince who falls in love with Salma, one of his father's many wives. She's played by the statuesque Anita Ekberg. Victor and Anita re-teamed the following year for Pickup Alley, a dark tale of international intrigue, co-starring Trevor Howard as a psychotic killer.
I stopped being fascinated by dope peddlers a long time ago. But you're in trouble. Serious trouble. But what I want from you is Frank McNally. You help me find him. I'll do everything in my power to help you.
Next came another gritty crime drama, The Long Haul, set against the backdrop of the trucking industry. Mature's co-star was the voluptuous Diana Dors, who was being promoted at the time as the English Marilyn Monroe.
You in love with her?
Look, Connie, it's over with. It's finished.
Are you? Then why the big sacrifice, Harry? Why so noble?
Because I don't want to break up our marriage.
You're not doing your best to hold it together.
You haven't done anything to help either. One thing you did to me, no woman should ever do to a man. You stood in my way.
Vic returned to the setting of World War II with 1958's Tank Force. He played an American sergeant serving with a British regiment.
Tank Force carries you into the heat of battle, where a man's business is to fight and die, and his pleasure to grab love wherever he can find it.
You be careful, you hear?
The following year, Mature had another change of pace as the troubled owner of the Big Circus. The romantic adventure boasted an outstanding supporting cast that included Red Buttons, Vincent Price, Rhonda Fleming, Peter Lorre, and Gilbert Rowland. Some film buffs consider The Big Circus to be a much better movie than the higher-profile Greatest Show on Earth.
You act like you're tough, and you talk like you're tough, but you know something? You're not tough at all.
I'm tough enough to try to keep a man from killing himself.
Tomorrow I walk the falls. It may be the last thing that I ever do, but if I make it, I'll kill you for what you said tonight.
King of animal tamers defying the king of beasts. Plus hundreds of animals, dancing girls, acrobats, clowns.
Whirling! Whirling! What is it? A lion! A lion!
Here is the fascinating, dramatic story of the behind-the-scenes lives and loves of circus people. Two love stories, one fiery, one tender.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting for your delight the most exciting, the most colorful, the most spectacular entertainment of all time. I give you the thrills, the drama, the romance of the biggest show in the world, the Big Circus.
As the 50s gave way to the 60s, Victor's pace began to slacken off. But some of his most interesting films were still to come. 1961's The Tartars paired Mature with the legendary Orson Welles. Victor played Oleg, the Viking chieftain who does battle with Burundi, the king of the Tartars, played by Welles.
No Viking will ever bend to your will, regardless of your threats.
I will destroy you.
You might destroy me, but you'll never destroy my people.
In 1966, Mature had fun with his celebrity image as Tony Powell, an aging movie star in the madcap comedy After the Fox. This offbeat romp was written by Neil Simon and directed by Vittorio De Sica. Stranger still was the 1968 comedy Head, which told the story, assuming it had a story, of the singing group The Monkees, who were miniaturized and living in Victor Mature's hair.
Only Victor Mature's hairdresser knows for sure.
This peculiar piece of 60s psychedelia was co-written by none other than Jack Nicholson. If nothing else, at least it showed that Victor didn't take himself too seriously. In fact, Mature once commented, "I'm no actor, and I've got 64 pictures to prove it." By now, the mature Mature was content to play golf and enjoy his golden years in Rancho Santa Fe, California. But he was once again persuaded to step before the cameras for a cameo appearance in 1976's legendary bomb, Juan Tauntaun, the Dog Who Saved Hollywood. The film, which starred Bruce Dern, was a spoof of the Rin Tin Tin story, and it boasted a cast filled with Hollywood luminaries. After a few more cameo appearances on film and TV, Victor Mature officially and finally retired in 1984. He died of leukemia on August 4th, 1999 in Rancho Santa Fe at the age of 86. Although Vic took a lot of kidding about his limited talent, from himself as much as from anyone else, there is no denying the contributions he made to the world of cinema. Whether playing a singing soldier, a tough trucker, or a biblical beefcake.
There's no past, no future, only now.
Hollywood will always remember Victor Mature.